Hey everyone, Nick here looking at Beyond Meat. I just went back and watched my last video on it, which was early May, and my note it was somewhere around here, I can't remember. But the point is, I said it had a good day, it gapped up on a day, and I said I would trade it in two ways. Chase the pop above these two fails, or short it at these two fails, or just below it where it was, with a really tight stop, because if they go above these, then they're serious. And they broke above that, and then they used it kind of as support where I expected to. So let's first address the big elephant in the room. First of all, if you're not a member, if you're not a member, look down below in the description. There's a link to the chat room. It's pretty cool. We do this all day, every day. Hundreds of people in there, and no jerks allowed. The other thing is, if you're not subscribed to this channel, you can do that. It's free. So the fundamentals is up to you, but in my opinion, I mean, it's a viable thesis. There are tons of people that want to eat, they don't want to eat animals for either health reasons, which is debatable. You have your opinions, they have their opinions, and probably the moral issue is where nobody has the right to put pressure on the other person. You know, one person wants to save the planet, the other person shouldn't poo-poo them for doing so. So if somebody doesn't want to eat meat because raising cows the way we do is A, inhumane, and B, is destroying the ozone layer. Wherever your opinion is on that, that's your opinion. So the fundamentals are, the thesis is undeniable. So you can't say it's going to fail because nobody wants to eat it, because you're wrong. And you can't say that there's going to be $1 billion because nobody else is going to eat anything but that. You're wrong. So somewhere in the middle lies the truth. So now it comes down to technicals. And the technicals say that they had a place where they were struggling with. They broke above it, and they're trying to find footing for it. And today's move was 20%, but it didn't start at 20%. And all day I had an alert in the chat room, and I said, this one is taking off, and it has like room to 180, 165 to 180, maybe even higher. So I'm not shorting it on the pop. However, there is something to look at. So every time we have a breakout, okay, the extension is wherever it is, but it's usually not a straight shot there. Although this stock has done it before. You know, like this, right? And look at this, but this is off of COVID. So if it's a COVID stock and we reopen, then that argument works against it a little bit, but technically all I have to do is see what it did last time it was here. So that's what machines do. When a machine is trading, they say AI. It's really not AI. They just look at history and say, okay, what happened last time we were here? And they sold it last time they were here. So it may fade a little bit. Go back and touch here, 144, 140, to see if the floor is good. You know, higher lows, it's definitely in the hands of the buyers on almost any time frame you pick. That changes on 5-minute time frame, in 1-minute time frame. It depends on how fast you're trading for. But for this simple way of looking, this is a daily, and it works on this breakout today because it's clear to see it even on the daily. They should see some resistance into 161, and for the same reasons into 172-ish. And for a similar reason, but at a bigger degree, at 180. So clearly the bulls have the upper hand. It's where do you get off with your longs. So if I bought calls, I would sell calls against them to lock some profits. How do I do that? So if I bought I'm going to make it up, a 160 call for July, and I paid, let's say, $2 for it, and now it's $6. So I can sell a call much higher and get more than $2. So I'll be getting paid to be long a debit call spread. So there's no way I cannot make money because I already booked my money, and I have more money I can make if the stock continues to rally into engulfing the entire spread. So this is just one easy way of doing things. Or if you want to get fancy, you can do diagonals. So you do a similar thing, but only shorter time frame. So if I own the 160 call, I can sell the 170 call shorter term, or 180 call shorter term, and collect some money, hoping that that would die. I would still be long my call for cheaper because I just collected money against it. All right, so these are things you can do. As far as the timing, it's up to how fast are people trading. So this is a 5-minute chart. The rise was so big today that there's really nothing. You know, once it took off, like this was the breakout, really, this was a confirmation of it. mini confirmation. This is the point of control for the day, which is insane. So it is not frothy. It's and they're adding to it. So know where you're getting in and know what you're fighting. So what am I fighting? I'm fighting people that love it in a technical breakout. And what are the bulls fighting? They're fighting eventually the ledge I showed you from September. So I'm not saying they can't go above it. Logic dictates that they should stop and breathe somewhere around it. And if you look here, it could be some sort of an inverse head and shoulders. The target of this is somewhere here. So maybe they're headed here before they breathe on this breakout from this neckline right there. So if you don't believe in the technicals, they do work. And there's a lot of lines here, but look, once they lost this ledge, this was my target and went to here. Not because I'm a genius at it, because that's what machines look at. And you know, on the shorter time frame, here are my notes, prior notes, clearly. So it was resistance, then support. Now back to resistance with a question mark. On the way up, clearly not, because they took it right back, and now it's support again. Okay, and this is the note from before, and it's exactly at it, resistance zone. I didn't put this randomly. I put it because I've seen the ledge on the left. All right, so these are my notes. The breakout really started here. They over delivered, and then once they break through a ledge, that ledge becomes the bottom. So you can see here there's a neckline that they took out, kind of a wonky one because of this spike, but you can see it. You can draw it here if you want, or here. It's one neckline after another. Okay, so watch this. So if I do this, by the way, if anything I said, if somebody said there's going to be resistance and that pisses you off, don't leave me nasty comments. Leave a note to yourself that you're too in love with your stock, because I have no feelings for the stock. In fact, I spoke well of it. Okay, so this is a fail, right? The ledge. That's what happened. Accident scene. They came back to it. Boom. They slammed it. They came back to it. Boom. They came back to it. Boom. So clearly, this is a level they fight over. They pivot around. So this is a base. So if you look at this, theoretically, the rally should be this big, theoretically. But is this the COVID low? So maybe it's an overshoot. So maybe I'll give it credit to here. So somewhere here is the target, and they're pretty darn close. This was my target. They're a little above it. But because it's a zone, it's not a hard line in the sand. All right, Nick signing out. Easy peasy.